Hi everybody, welcome back to Spyro, and getting it up a little bit late today because I was going to do it earlier today, but then I didn't. So sorry, but I'm sure it's okay. It's Friday night, so like next video is not till Monday, plenty of time for people to see it. You know, it's the freaking weekend, baby. I'm about to have me some fun. So this is Blowhard. This is the boss for whatever the hell world. I forget what it's called. I just call it like Wizard World because it's where all the wizard people are at. I think it's called like Magic Makers or some shit. Or no, because I think the next one's called Beast Makers, if I remember correctly. I don't know. You can see how much I pay attention to anything. But yeah, this one's not too bad. Like, the boss himself is actually incredibly easy. He's just a guy, and yeah, you hit him. And his attacks are like, they seem like they would be really hard to dodge, or like just the tornado enemies, because like the witches, the floating witches that make storms and like zap you, those ones always get me, and those ones are annoying. But somehow, like the thunderstorm, like the whirlwind ones, they seem like they would be really annoying enemies, but I've never had much of a problem with them. And here's one of those times I hate in 3D platformers where you need to jump like not the longest possible length of your jump, but more than just a little tap, and so it's almost like games are supposed to be challenging.
Either do I. Who are you again?
I'm out of here.
Poor senile dragon. So yeah, a bit of a short one today because in this one we'll just be doing this boss and then going around the quite large overworld for the next world. And then going back to something that I talked over in the last video when a dragon mentioned it. One of the dragons in, I think, the High Caves. He tells you to go back to the Artisan World, the first world in the game, to get a secret flying mission that's behind the waterfall. Which, I think I mentioned it in the first part, how I said there's a secret thing there. And I don't know if you can, like, I kind of remember stepping on the pads, on the platforms you have to step on to activate it. I think I remember doing that the first time I played the game beforehand, and, like, they didn't light up or anything, so I don't know if you need to get that dragon before you can open it, or if it's just there the whole time, but I kind of would suspect it's the former, that you have to have gotten that dragon to get there, because like it's a much harder flying level than the one in Peacekeepers, the world after that, because I think with the expectation that you would do it around this point in the game, but I don't know, is it accessible from the beginning? We may never know, except there are tons of people who know. I'm just not one of them. But I may never know because maybe no one will tell me, and I'm lazy, so I might not find out for myself. Yeah, these guys are fuckers. They remind me, they're very analogous to Magikoopas in the Mario games, which are also magical zap cape and hat wearing boys who suck ass and are annoying. And then another enemy earlier, like in the back of my mind as I was talking about something else, another enemy I saw in this game reminded me of another Mario enemy, but I don't remember what it was. So that was really worth bringing up. Anyway, this is Beastmakers, and this is kind of like a big pain in the ass world. I think it is also the last world in this game that I've actually completed, so I should probably make some effort to, like, finish the game before I get to the end in the LP. I mean, I guess I could just do the last few levels blind. I mean, no real harm in that, but I like to kind of know what I'm doing. Like, honestly, I haven't really had to cut all that much out in this run, and I'm, like, pretty satisfied with, like, the timing of all the videos, like, how they've all split up and everything. Like, there's a little bit of a rhythm I've gotten into, so, like, I'm not, like, shitting out of my doo-doo ass with this LP, which I was worried that I was going to, because, you know, obviously on the first run, you know, you're kind of poopy, especially when you're, or at least, like, you know, I did a lot more dying and backtracking because I was, like, trying things and, like, not knowing what to do and figuring it out. And in hindsight, that sounds weird because nothing in this game is like, complicated, but, you know, it's a game you haven't played before and you gotta learn its rules, you know, the rules of the road. So we do the thing, we go through the overworld as we do, and you burn some piggies. I don't know if you can charge into them. It looks like they would just hurt you if you did, so I just flame them. Misty Bog. I think there's 4, like, platforming levels and then a flying level in this world, but I don't know if I'm right about that. Cletus. Who the fuck is Cletus?
It's great to see you, but I've got to go.
Okay. Where do they go? I'm sure it's, like, revealed at the end, but... Oh, that was cheap. I'm sure it's revealed at the end, but, like, do all these dragons, are they going somewhere? Like, are they all going to Dragonland from Dragon Tales? Speaking of dragons, even though he's not really a dragon, he's a kaiju. Oh yeah, so this is... Usually these little pits are just filled with green gloop from Arthur, and, but that one you can go down, but you can't get out of it until you complete the level that's in there, and it's a flying level, and I'm about to go do an annoying flying level in a little bit, so I didn't want to do that one as well. I can show off that you can go down there, because that's what I did the first time I played through this. I was like, oh, I can go in this hole, sweet, I wonder if there's gonna be gems in here. And there are gems, but there's also a flying level, and it's hard, and I was in it for like a half hour, and then I was like, okay, now to look at the rest of the world. And I think I might be wrong, because there's one at the beginning, and there's 2 over that way, and then there's treetops here. Wait, I forget if there's 3 or 4 levels. And then there's... The boss is up in that arch right there, and then the flying level is in there, in the hole. These electrical dudes are very annoying, and you're going to see a lot of them in the next couple of levels. Yeah, I mean, you can not get hit by them if you're patient, but I'm not, so I do. Anyway, as I was going to say, I said speaking of dragons, except the thing I'm talking about is not a dragon, it's a kaiju, but I don't know if I've, like, talked about this anywhere, or, like, in a video or anything, but, over the course of the last couple of months, one of the things I've been doing, I mean, under the umbrella of just watching a lot of movies in general, a lot more than usual, able to do so for obvious reasons. I've been going through all of the Godzilla movies. I don't know how many there are. I want to say it's like 30 or something altogether. But I've watched, I want to say like 18 of them. And I'm in the second, like, period. It's divided into, the fourth period recently started, and with Shin Godzilla in 2016, and then the third period was the Millennium era in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then this is the Heisei era, I believe that's how you say it, I don't speak Japanese. and that was from the 80s to the 90s, and so I'm in that one. The last one I watched was Godzilla vs. Biollante, or Biolante. They pronounce it several different ways in the movie because there's an English-speaking American cast and a Japanese cast. But it was pretty good, and I like them a lot, and I mean, I don't really have much more to say about that, except that I've been watching them, and they're good. If you have access to the Criterion channel, then all of the Showa-era films, which comprises, I believe, like 14 or 15 movies, all of them except for Godzilla vs. King Kong, for some reason, which is one of the best ones, and it's like the second one they made. Or, I mean, like the third or fourth one, actually, but yeah. All of those are on Criterion channel, except for the King Kong one. The King Kong one and all the other ones that aren't on Criterion so far that I've watched have all been on archive.org, though. Someone is doing God's work and uploading a fuckload of Toho Studios movies to archive.org, and it's great because I get to watch all of them. And yeah, I don't have like a super cool take about Godzilla movies other than just it's neat to like watch the progression of Godzilla as an icon and, you know, Japanese culture in general. And the fact that it's this big sort of like trashy, or I mean, it's only considered trashy by like a lot of Western critics, I feel like, but it's, you know, like a big blockbuster franchise, but it is very concerned with like social and cultural issues of Japan, and I don't know, it's just neat. When we finish it, because JT is also watching them, he's like a few behind me, I think he's still in the Showa era, but yeah, we were talking about like doing some sort of video where we just talk about Godzilla movies, but I would want to have some sort of like thing like framing the talking about it, you know? I feel like just rambling and being like, oh, and then there's this one, this happens, I thought that was good, or whatever. But hey, I don't know, it was just a thought. So yeah, this is the flying level. I'm not doing too hot, as you can see. My thing with the flying levels is going to be, I will show my first attempt and then my successful attempt. Yeah, there's quite a lot to do, and there's some tricky maneuvering you have to do. But this didn't take me too many tries. I think I only had to cut out one or two other tries to this before I got it. Before I got all of them. This was, like, I was deliberately trying a path other than what I assumed would be correct, because, or, like, what I was pretty sure was the way I did it last time, because I was second-guessing whether or not I was remembering it right or whether it would work. Somehow got 180 there, though. Again, I don't understand how the scoring works for the flying. But anyway, yeah, I've found that the best way to go is to start with the trains and just follow the tracks, pretty much. Unless there's one that's, like, visible and right there, and you can veer off and get it. But yeah, I would do this one first because it's the one with, like, typically the one with the largest gap in when you're adding more time. Whereas with, like, the chests, if you're not shitty and you're getting all of them, which, yeah, I missed that one, but managed to circle back. Like, these have a little bit less time in between getting each of them. And as do the planes, if you don't dilly-dally. And yeah, this probably cost me a few seconds. I probably could have gotten it a little bit faster if I hadn't screwed up the flying. I'm always just very worried that I'm going to bump into something and start falling and die. But then you got the arches, and I recommend not going for the arches first and instead just plowing through as many of these planes as you can and doing that. The unsuccessful attempt before this one was basically the exact same thing that you just saw, except I did the chest part better, and then I tried to do the arches first and then circle back here and get the planes. And I also just wasn't as quick with the planes as I was here, and so I ran out of time. And I think I was literally one plane away from getting all of them, and that's when I ran out of time, like on my way to that last one. But it all worked out. Like I said, it took like 3 or 4 tries, so wasn't too bad. I am happy with how I've been doing, again, relative to my original playthrough of this game. I'm just relieved that it is actually possible for me to play a game twice and actually improve. Because God knows that never happens. Like, I played TF2, and for like 5 years, I played it. I logged like 100 hours on it, and I don't think I was any better at the end of it than at the beginning. But I guess I'm growing up. I'm a grown gamer boy. I hate that I said that. Anyway, next time we'll start up on Beastmakers. So see you then for that.